Good night, everyone. It's December 30th, 2020. With this, we start the show Confirmado la Moncloa, a review of the Spanish political situation. Today, we will only concentrate on one topic. This program is gonna be pretty harsh, so if somebody doesn't want to be listening to a harsh program today, we invite them to simply not listen to it. And today, we are going to focus on what we have called the shameful speech. Seeing yesterday the speech of Pedro Sánchez simply confirmed the doubts that many of us had. Can there be anyone so liar, shameless, and sick managing a government, and not any government, but the government of the country? Is it possible that millions of citizens in Spain still trust him? And is it possible that the media is still supporting him? This must make us all think in what country and in what society we're living. We think that if after the speech the people don't react, it's the moment to move away, because it will confirm that it's not worthy to do anything for anyone. If we are 1,000, 2,000, or whatever number of little ants working together and try to say the truth about the government, we are glad to know all of you. But we can't battle some wars on our own. And for example, today we received at least 3 emails telling us something but asking us not to mention their names. And you think, and who am I? I have to give my name? I have to show myself with no resources, with nothing, while we don't invest our time in our jobs nor our family, using a borrowed computer in a dark room to try and cheer up the country? Well, if that's what we have to do, we think we're not in the right place. Because if after 40 years of democracy we have to live according to what one person says, and keep in mind that in this show, we are not trying to convince anyone. We only want people to think by themselves. And when so many little number of people are thinking by themselves, probably it's not worth our time nor our effort. And it seems like this is not working. And when someone does a bad job, what they have to do is leave. And that is what we're thinking. Because in this unequal war, an important part of it is the media. We cannot compete against big media, nor the TV, nor the newspapers with big budgets. We can't dedicate 5 to 6 hours every day with the resources we have. We do want to thank all of those who did help. We would say to those that are helping, don't help more for now, and those that haven't, just think about it. We lost the battle. We are in a society where it's not worth fighting for anyone. I think that everyone should start thinking about their own survival, but it seems that trying to help others is not the way to go. After seeing the speech of Pedro Sánchez and the applauses he received, and how the media has supported him, one ends up realizing that this is not worthwhile. Sánchez hasn't won, but Spain has lost. All of the Spanish people, all of the citizens in Spain have lost. We have lost 40 years of democracy and thrown out the work and effort of so many people, of grandfathers, of fathers. And while some have tried and done something, some more, some less, most of them have simply stayed in the sofa doing nothing, not caring. This country was pro-Franco. It was also pro-Republican. It was also pro-Sánchez, and they will be in favor of anyone that will simply let them alone, as long as they satisfy those that will keep them in office. And that's not democracy. It's not democracy the lack of education, nor to eliminate the rights of the people, nor to attack the courts. It's not democracy that to have the position of minister you have to sleep with someone. It's not the democracy having the presidency of the Congress with zero experience in life, like Mrs. Batet. Democracy is something that has to be exercised by everyone individually, showing that they want it and that they want to defend it. The rest is not a democracy. And we mentioned many times that Spain is following the steps of Catalonia. And in Catalonia, we were the first, the ones that generated more benefit in Spain, and now we're the last ones in Spain. And on top of that, those that made Catalonia be just a desert with nothing, leaving it to be the last in all of Spain, the President Sánchez wants to pardon them, simply because Pedro Sánchez said that everyone committed a mistake. And of course we all make mistakes. But the worst thing is that most of the people that vote Pedro Sánchez still haven't seen that they are the ones that committed a mistake. And we're not talking about the more than 70,000 deaths from COVID-19. If we did, they would cover all of Spain. Nor the thousands and thousands of businesses closed, with people crying, their lives ending. The temporary layoffs that people still haven't received the money, and others instead have received the money 2 or 3 times. Because some of us, we have dedicated these months to talk and listen to the people. Something that we think, and we said many times, that's what politicians should do. And at this age, well, maybe if we were 20 years old, instead of the age we have, probably we wouldn't be so calm taking the things right now. But when you get to a certain age, you can see that all is possible and all is impossible. And some of us believe that when there's a challenge, you have to fight it until the end. But when you get to a certain age, the challenges have to be considered and thought which ones to fight. Because we think that there are people that are more prepared to fight those challenges. Because it's not the same taking a challenge on when you have 25, 30, 35 that when you have 50. And we're probably the few that we can say whatever we want because we have worked on our own on the private business, most of it from abroad, to be able to live without worrying if a government gives us a contract or not. Some of us don't work with public money, and that makes us privileged. Because a lot of people are afraid if they will be able to pay the mortgage, if their business will have to close, and frightened of many other things. Because the society that has been formed is afraid of everything, of people that prefer to hide under a blanket than to fight for their rights. A society that allowed the speech of Pedro Sánchez a shameless speech, where we almost had to close the TV because we were going to vomit. But insulting, really, though it might help us be a bit more relaxed or take our stress out, it doesn't make problems go away. It doesn't resolve the problem. Whomever has had a problem in their life, they know that simply insulting doesn't resolve the problem or make it go away. Nor does it fix a problem, blaming on someone else the responsibility. Problems usually are resolved managing with a cool head and with resources. And without the 3 of them, you don't get anywhere. Because a few months ago, some people did go to the street and protest, but now, nothing. It's like, while the people can do what they want, they're not gonna say anything. Even if the government is managing terribly bad and eliminating their rights. And when one, for example, sees that the right of mobility is being suspended and attacked, and people are only thinking about their own survival and not thinking about a fundamental right? Well, one thinks, is it worth the while trying to make people think and see that this is not the way? That the government is doing it really bad? Is it worthwhile to confront a big structure like the government with no resources? And we see with sadness, like those that are in prison, those from the pro-independence ones here in Catalonia that ended in prison for the actions they did against the Constitution and the unity of Spain. Now, the government, the Spanish government of Pedro Sánchez, wants to pardon them. Pedro Sánchez, the person who said that he understood us and that he wasn't going to give the pardon. And one ends up thinking if it's worth the while or not to continue fighting this battle. And one thinks, what have I won all these months? Affection? Yes, we did. Nice words? Yes. Results? Yes. Some. A bit. We did do something. Some things have changed. And we do have the loyalty of many people that we call ants that try and help us. Many of them, but that doesn't move all of the things that have to be moved. Doesn't make the change that has to occur. And we always said that the solution should come from Europe. But Europe right now has a lot of problems. And the government of Pedro Sánchez knows that right now Europe is really busy with their own problems. So this government will try and eliminate and to step on all of the rights they can as fast as they can. And when we finally notice, we will have no rights left. And that's when some people will see that there is a big problem. And they will ask, what can we do? Well, my recommendation, worry about yourself. But we have seen that doing something for everyone, worrying about everyone, is just a suicide right now here in Spain. We are a selfish country where the good heart of people and helping others doesn't work. It works if you want to receive a thank you, if you want to talk with people, and to make little changes, but not to do the changes that need to occur. The big changes that need to happen occur when everyone's putting pressure, when everyone's saying something, not with insults, but saying what they think, protesting. That's when changes occur. And when nobody does this, well, one thinks we're not here to be a hero. And that simply creates us a feeling of uneasy. And we will have Twitter open, and the channel will probably also be open once we have thought about all of this. But there are days, and with New Year's Eve so close, that one must think of everything. And must say out loud how difficult it is to keep going and to do what we are doing. Our goal is not to be heard in all of the TVs, nor to be rich, nor to be heard in all of the media. The goal is that whomever listens to us ends up being able to think by themselves, and that that person can end up saying, well, this man has helped me think. And then they can agree or not with me, because we have different opinions. But I want people to think. Because here, we don't want to convince anyone. We want people to think on their own. And here we try to create that trust that what we say is because we have analyzed the situation and what should happen. Our goal is not to convince. One day we started explaining the situation from the point of view that we had analyzed, and they started to happen. It started to happen exactly as we said. Also, we try to keep our feet on the ground. We have also tried to reply all of the messages we received, and maybe I forgot to reply to someone, but people know that we did reply. And we even created sections in the channel so people would participate. We did everything we could with the resources we had. And the resources, well, is this borrowed computer, this room here in my house, and those long hours taken from other activities. And please think, if all of those that follow us forget to listen to us one day, nothing happens. But if we were to fail a day in the more than 100 days that we've been going on, had forgotten to do the show, they would be worried. And we haven't failed a single day. We have been here every day. And when you see that everything is just the same, that the things don't change, and when you see that indulgence is what governs in this country, because when the general response of everyone are insults, or how bad the Social Democrats are, and the truth is they are really managing terribly, terribly bad the situation, but the truth is that the changes don't occur from the insults, nor from ignorance or only thinking about oneself, like the opposition is doing right now. Changes occur listening a lot, and keeping the feet on the ground. Also, trying to cheer people up, as we try to do in many occasions, but after all, we're not perfect machines. In the end, we're simply people that one day decided to fight for democracy, and that's why we have this channel. But of those that are trying to fight for democracy are only those 2,000 that listen to us, we're not going to change anything. And to reach to the millions of people without resources, we will never get there. And we must be really tired that it's been already 2 days that we have put the same screen for the show. The wrong screen, by the way. And when one realizes that he's committed an error more than once, then one must realize that he's not doing the things the good way. And that's when you have to take some time to relax a little. Take some time to think, also to think if he should continue with his activity, the professional one, the one that gives him economic stability, not having to stay alert every day at midnight for the show, nor every morning for the second coffee of the day. And one must think about a lot of things. And there is something really basic. We don't receive public money. We receive money from you, from those that collaborate with us. And we feel bad about that. We feel bad because you're making a great effort for something that's probably not getting the results it should be getting. And we have that moral ethics to think about others. And with that in mind, I think that the most reasonable decision is to end the year with this show and see how the year starts. And we also think that you, the listeners, should also have this hour, the midnight, to relax, not to be listening to us every day. But we want to be clear, and don't think that Sánchez has won. The bad ones haven't won. The Spaniards have lost. The Spanish citizens are the ones that have truly lost. And all of those that listen to us, please keep in mind that you have won, like I have. You've won all of these months. You have won affection, information, and analysis of the situation that many other people haven't had. And we will see how the next days go. The situation is complicated. It's also really tiring and sometimes even desperate. But I would like for all of those that listen to us to keep in mind that the most important thing is to think, not to insult, to try and stay calm, not get nervous, and to enjoy as much as possible. Nobody will take the smile we started and probably now finished with. We will see if we will come back the next few days and a place where we should all together try to think how to defend our democracy. If we want this country to keep going and not to end in a dictatorship, depends on how we defend our rights. Try to stay positive. And after all, we are no one special. We are not a politician leader, not in politics. It's only a person that used to do maps, and that's what he does. And as we said, we were here simply for some time, and that one day we would leave. And we think that this year we have done a lot. We will see if we come back next year, and we are going to finish as always, because being there for us means to continue, means to keep on going, and in one way or another, we will keep going. So thank you all. Thank you to all of those that listened to us. Thank you to all of those who collaborated. And with that, stick around, or as we say in Spain, seguimos.